And then
I'm gonna give you the list.
yesterday.
Yeah, why?
Yeah.
You want me to go? Oh,
Attempting to get.
It's locking us in. Now we're in for it. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Co-working Connection and Co-working Week 2014. We're glad you're here. We want to thank our sponsors this week. We have Securitas and Interleague sponsoring this event today, and we're really excited to have them be a part of co-working. Today we have Kim Davidson from the city of Murrieta. I have owned a marketing company for 15 years, and I've owned it from Grand Rapids, Michigan, to Temecula, to Murrieta, and Wyoming, and about 4 or 5 cities over 15 years. And I have to tell you, out of all the cities I've ever done business in, the city of Murrieta is the most proactive and engaging city that we've ever been in. So I'm very happy and thrilled that we are here and are working with them very closely on building the startup community in the Temecula Valley. So with that, I'd like to introduce Kim Davidson to talk about doing business in the city of Murrieta.
Thank
you. What I'd like to do first is go around the room and let me know if you have a business, what stage is the business in, if you're starting up. Some of you like this group over here I know pretty well. But if you just introduce yourself and kind of give me an idea of why you're here and what you're hoping to get out of it. And if you haven't started a business yet, you don't know anything about it, that's okay too.
Also, say it loud and clear because we're streaming this live, so there's lots of people tuning in online as well.
Okay, we'll start back there.
I'm Brian Karen with Phoenix Murrieta, with graphic design, videography, and writing. And I'm here to see if I can get any new tactics to help grow the business a little bit. I just started it in January, so I'm still getting my feet wet.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Back there.
My name is Denise, and I actually haven't gotten anything off the ground as of this point, but I'm thinking about a t-shirt business, and it'll all be started and small. I hope to operate it from my home, and so I would be, probably looking for printers, local printers, and local products and things like that. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Good. Very good. Paul, you want to tell us what you do?
I'm Paul Nolte with the Small Business Development Center. We work with small business to help them start, maintain, or expand their business, and I'm just here to learn what new things the city has going on.
Tamara Bienvenue, T-Zine. I've been an engineer for years, and when our company folded and moved to St. Paul, I decided not to go. So
Wise decision.
Yes, West Floridian, Southern California wasn't a match. So I have an interior design business I'm starting, and I've done a lot of friends and friends of friends, and now I'm attempting to figure out how to market and really make it a full-on business. So
Good.
That's why I'm here.
Good.
I've got a lot to learn.
Good.
I'm Marquis Powell. I am from Minneapolis, and I think you would probably enjoy it,
I did like it in February.
especially if you go there. Well, you don't want to go there in the winter.
Yeah.
You definitely want to go there in February.
Yeah.
I work for Protection One. I also have a startup business. It's a business directory that we just launched in July. And the reason I am here is just for the, just the co-working, I was going to say fellowship, that's a Christian term, but just networking is what I wanted to say. And that's pretty much it.
Perfect.
Hello, I've been to Minnesota many times. My name is Milad with Hashemi Designs, creating brands that shine. I was graphics manager at Trinity for the last 4 years. They just moved their offices to LA. Decided not to make the commute. So I'm a remote designer for them, and I'm launching my own.
Very good. Gwen?
I'm Gwen Hunter, retired about 2.5 years and trying to start my own painting business. I do decorative painting, so classes, home parties, classes at my house, and also at Hobby Lobby. Trying to get this off the ground, and also recently possibly virtual assistant type thing with business, so kind of juggling most different things.
My name is Heather Rawlings, and I work with Kim at the city, and I'm also the editor at my Murrieta and my Temecula magazines. positive stories from the community about great businesses and great people.
Joe, you want to introduce?
I'm Joe Lundgren from the Coffee Maker. I am the owner of Red Zone Creative and specialize in marketing and sales automation through digital technologies.
Jan?
I'm Jan Bates, owner, broker, Jan Bates Realty, 25 years. I just was at a meeting. I support the troops, and so I'm always looking for extra people that want to come on board to help do that. And then with everybody going into business and what's happening in our country, we have identity theft problems, and we all need legal representation. So I became an associate with Legal Shield and can offer people $1 a day, and they have access to an attorney.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, as Dion said before, I'm the business development manager for the city of Murrieta. I'll give you a little bit of background on what that means for you so that you know when you can utilize me. Basically, my job at the city is to help bring business to Murrieta and then keep it here. So really, whatever we can do to help your business, we will go out of our way to help you do that. So people ask, well, what can you do for us? And it's like, well, what do you need? We have business owners that need help, and we'll get into this in the presentation as well, but we have business owners that need help finding a location to open up. They maybe want to know what part of the city is best for their type of business if they're looking for a brick and mortar. We can help you either identify the location, we can help you find the location through using our brokers in town. We've taken businesses to investors to try to help them get investment opportunities. We've paired them up with banks to help them get loans. We've paired them up with the SBA to help them get SBA loans. So it's literally, what do you need us to help you with, and then we'll find someone. If we can't do it, and when I say we, it's myself and my boss, Bruce. If we can't do it, we will find someone who can for you. That is our job at City Hall, to make business connections for you so that you can get stuff done and keep working. So that's just a little background on what I do there so that you know when to call me. So here's starting a business. The green box up at the top there, you first need to decide what are you going to be. And there's reasons why you would be any one of those, and there's certain times when you would be one and not the other. And to really get a good explanation of that, you need to speak with a lawyer or CPA. That's going to be your best. So if you decide, if you know that you're going to be a sole proprietor, and that would be mostly someone working from home, that would be an easy fit usually. It really depends on the industry, and I'm not qualified as a lawyer to tell you when you should or shouldn't do these things. So if you have questions, if you know you want to be a sole proprietor, that's probably right. If you don't know whether you want to be an LLC, an S Corp, or a C Corp, then you need to speak with a lawyer or a CPA and find out what is the right fit for you. Make sure, though, you don't go overboard. I had a marketing company back in 2008 that I worked from home, and I was an S Corp. It was way overkill, and I spent way too much money and time and resources putting that into being incorporated for no purpose. I could have been a sole proprietor for about $800 less a year. So make sure you know what exactly you want to do. And again, the best people to ask would be a lawyer or CPA. You can have Paul, do you counsel people on that part of it, or do you send them to a lawyer or CPA?
Give them my soapbox version, but yes, lawyer or CPA.
Really, if you want to go to the source, you want to talk to a lawyer or CPA. So what we're going to focus a little bit more on today is going to be more of a sole proprietor, although you can see that you all end up the same place to get a city business license. So if you choose to be a sole proprietorship, you would then go to the county office. There's one in Temecula. You don't have to drive all the way to Riverside County. And you fill out a fictitious business name application. And that costs about $58. It's just a simple application. You give them your home address. It's just it's like filling out just like a work application. It's all the usual information. $58. You file it right then and there. They stamp it. It takes maybe, depending on how busy the office is, I think I did mine within about 20 minutes. I was in and out of there. Because I recently started my home-based business. I do freelance graphic design from home as well. So on December 31st, because I wanted to get it in under the last the last calendar year, I went in and did it December 31st, the morning of, 15:20, there was nobody in there. So anyways, you go to the county office in Temecula, it's right behind the Taco Bell, kind of right behind the Taco Bell area on Inez and Winchester. You do that, it's pretty quick. You need to then announce it in the newspaper. They give you a whole list of newspapers that you can go with. I'll tell you that as soon as I filed with the county, a bunch of publications started, sending stuff to me. So, because I have 30 days to do it, and I was dreading having to go find a news. It's just one more thing, right? We all need one more thing to do in the day. So I got a thing online. It was called like something Business Journal, and you could do it all online, file online. It was $35, so that was no big deal. But you have to do that within 30 days, or else it voids your original fictitious business name that you got. You got to go back and do it again, as Christina, our friend Christina, found out. And then, so whether you become an S Corp, an LLC with the lawyer, CPA, you become a sole proprietorship, you announce it in the newspaper, you can get your city business license. And that you have to have a business license for any city that you're doing business in. So for people who have, well, I'm an internet-based, okay, well then probably you just need one for Murrieta if your home-based business would be in Murrieta. If you're, let's say, a plumber and you go out to several houses, you would need one for every business that you have clients in, every city that you have clients in. So the city business license for Murrieta for a smaller business is $75. For most businesses, is $75 a year. The calendar starts ticking the day that you purchased it. And I think for Temecula, it's $35 for the smallest business. Maybe you know, Paul. It's $35 for the smallest business, but then it has different breakouts.
It's like $45.
Yeah, about the same. So it's about the same. And so then from there, and this is assuming if you're trying to open a restaurant or anything like that, you would have a bunch of county things that you need to go through. This doesn't get into that. But that, if you guys have any questions along the way, we can keep this pretty informal. Just go ahead and ask. You don't have to wait till the end. But at the end, we can have an opportunity for one-on-one questions if you have specific questions about your business. So for a restaurant or for certain types of businesses, there might be county permits that you also need to get.
Kim, what if you're an independent contractor, like if you're 1099, do you have to have a business license for that?
Yes.
You do.
You would have a home-based business then. And you would get a DBA, so you would come up with Heather Rawlings Consulting, let's say. You would go get a DBA for that at the county, doing business as. Then you would have to file that because you're a business, and then you would get a city business license. If you're a home-based business and your home was located in Temecula, you would get one for Temecula. But then if you were 1090, if you were being a consultant to different businesses throughout the region, you would technically need a business license for each city that you do business in. Does anybody ever check that? That would be up to you to decide. Okay. But you definitely need one for the city that you do the business in. So if you're a home-based business, that would be where your house is located. So these are just some things to think about since really my forte is marketing your business after you're open, but part of my function at City Hall is to get the businesses open, and that's what the talk is in today. So I had to really keep reminding myself to not talk about marketing. But these are just some things I want you to think about as you're getting ready to open your business. You need to have a business plan. When I say need, because I fought against this when I opened my marketing company, a business plan, the way I would describe it, is like going to the grocery store with a list. Could you accomplish what you need to at the grocery store with no list? Yes. People do it every day. But they probably buy more than they needed, they get sidetracked with things they didn't need, and they probably end up spending more money. Okay, so, and the business plan will help you, especially if you really spend some time doing your business plan ahead of time. It'll help you hone into your target audience. It'll help you really do some research to make sure that your business is going to be viable in the area that you're putting it into. Think about what the capital is that you're going to need. What kind of funding do you need? Do you have enough to get through the next 2 years? Because that's what you should be planning for, the next 2 to 3 years. Your banking needs, make sure that you have the right bank. We have some banks around here that charge nothing for business accounts. We have some banks that charge a lot for business accounts, but maybe come with benefits to that. So just make sure that you know all of the details surrounding that. Your insurance requirements. I know that I had gotten E&O insurance, and I ended up needing general liability insurance for certain government jobs that were coming up that were marketing jobs. So just make sure you have your insurance requirements. When to hire employees, just something that, if you're a small business starting at home, at some point, are you going to need to hire someone? And if so, will you need to move out of your home in order to accommodate that employee? And think about whether or not in the near future you would want to outsource some of your departments. As a business owner, you really should not be trying to do everything. You shouldn't also be the HR department and also the finance department and also the marketing department, because that takes away from whatever it was. It takes away from the graphic design or whatever it was you're originally trying to do. So think about, we have a lot of people in this valley that do these outsourced departments. We have a lot of people in HR, we have a lot of people in marketing, a lot of people in finance that can help with your QuickBooks and that sort of thing. So just some things to think about. You don't have to do it all yourself. So then why Murrieta? Because I'd like you to open your business here. Just some quick stats. We have a median age of 32. Our population is now over 107,000. Despite our population signs that every single one of them is wrong.
What do they say?
Well, the one on the freeway on the 15 when you're going north, right when you're about to get the 215, says nothing. It just says, the numbers fell off. It says nothing. Yeah. And the one off of the new Cherry Street off-ramp says 104, even. 104,000, which it was never that. They all say something different, and I don't know. Temecula is about 105.
So we're more than Temecula.
Yeah, we've been more than Temecula, slightly more, but we'll take it. Yeah. We've been slightly more than Temecula for the past few years now. But we're working with engineering to get the numbers put back up there. It's 107 something. So it's just slightly over 107. Our mean family income is $102,000 a year. We are the second or the 8th safest city in the nation. What does that mean, Kim? There are 8 FBI numbers that the FBI gives us that they sort the crimes by. Everybody sorts it differently. We choose to put in all 8. If we put in all 8 numbers, we are 8th safest. A lot of the cities like to take out 4 of the crimes against property because that makes their stats go up. If we take out those 4 that are popular to take out, then we are the second. So that's why we say it that way.
And the first being?
Irvine.
Irvine?
Always Irvine.
Okay.
Yep. So it's always been Irvine. Irvine is the only master plan city, I think, in the United States.
Okay.
Yeah, it was completely owned by one company and completely master planned. So they were really able to, when you've got a monopoly board that's just blank and you can do whatever you want with it, you can really plan for no crime, Our unemployment rate, the last numbers I saw were 5.9. I think they might even be lower now. And that, keeping in mind that a normal unemployment rate is between 3 to 4%, we're getting down there. So that's good. 34% of our residents have a BA or advanced degree, and 63% have attended college. So those are pretty decent numbers. Murrieta Valley Unified School District is among the top 10% in the nation. They have a 95% graduation rate from our high schools. It's pretty incredible. So, like my daughter is just starting 1st grade next week, and my ex-husband wanted to put her in private school. And I was like, why? Our school district here is better than a private school. Great school system. So one of the things that puts Murrieta apart from a lot of other cities is we have what we call an ombudsman service that we offer. What does that mean? Kind of what I was saying earlier. We can help with site selection, whether that means if you come into City Hall and say, Kim, I'm ready to grow out of my house, where do you think would be the best place for me to put my business? That's getting a little harder to accommodate because our vacancy rate is going way down now. Things are getting filled up, so it's getting a little harder to find where to place people. A few years ago, we really had the luxury of being able to put people wherever we thought that they would fit best, but now you're having a little bit of a hard time finding a vacancy that would fit your criteria. But we can also, one of the things we do is we put out a blind email to, I just did it for a restaurant that is looking to move in Murrieta, and just basically put their criteria. I didn't say who they are or anything like that. Then I see what I get back from the brokers, send that over to the restaurant owner. That kind of gives them the ability to shop a little bit without any one broker hounding them or trying to get them into a particular spot. Gives them a little bit of an opportunity to shop. And sometimes they ask for our opinion, well, what do you think about this center and that sort of thing. We make capital connections. If you need an investor, you need a loan, we can't get it for you, but we can help make hopefully the right connections so that you can get that funding. We offer assistance with permits. Really, we offer assistance with anything at City Hall that is business related. If you come into City Hall and you're getting your business license, for example, and you just feel like, gee, I don't feel comfortable, I've never been into a City Hall before, I don't know where to go, what to do, you can call me or you can make an appointment with me. I will go and help you get your business license downstairs. Same with a building permit, same with anything that you need to get done at City Hall for your business. If you don't feel comfortable getting it, or you don't feel like the person behind the counter is responding to you in a customer service manner, you are always welcome to call me and or Bruce, and we will walk you through it. Some work through any issue. We have, for example, we have a shoe store opening up next to the chamber. She was having an issue. She and our building inspector did not get along. Personalities clashed. So she asked that I be there anytime that he comes to do an inspection. So that's something else we do. So we will, any issue that we can work through for you, we will help work through it. We can't change codes, obviously. You know, we can't break the law or change codes or waive ADA or anything like that. But anything that we can work through that you're having a problem with. Our point at City Hall is to get you open as quickly as possible. And to business owners, that translates to money. If you're stuck doing tenant improvements for 3 months more than you should be because of a building inspector that didn't like you or something like that, that's where we want to step in and make sure that doesn't happen. So we are available 24/7 for questions. Yes, 24/7. Bruce and I put our cell phones on everything. If we can't answer at 2 in the morning, we don't. But you're always welcome to call, text. I'm on Facebook. You can message me. You can post things, however. And then that's us, Bruce Coleman. Are we good so far? Any questions? So what kind of business help do we offer you? Whether you've not started out at all, you're just starting out, or you've been doing your business for years, doesn't matter. We offer one-on-one marketing consultations to all Murrieta businesses. Basically, you just call me, make an appointment, we sit down for 1 to 2 hours. I can work with anything from you don't even know what the word marketing means to I am a marketing company, but I just want to make sure that I'm brainstorming and coming up with new ideas. We have some business owners like Monica at New Life Ultrasound. She has a marketing mind. She does all her own marketing, but she calls me about once a year. We sit down, make sure she's on track, make sure there's nothing that she hasn't, just a second pair of eyes to look at what she's doing. And then I've got business owners that, they hear the word marketing and they get all scared and think it's going to be thousands of dollars. My expertise is making your business look like $1 million on very minimal money. I have to think outside the box working at the city. So if you need that, give me a call. We'll sit down and see what you've done, see what you want to do, and maybe find some different ways of doing that can save you money. We offer a Murrieta Business Roundtable with SCORE. We do that at the chamber offices every third Wednesday of the month. It's free to attend. Almost all of our workshops are free to attend. We really try to keep them no cost for our business owners so that everyone can take advantage. The Business Roundtable every month, 7:30 a.m., third Wednesday of the month. If you give me your business card or email address after this, you can write that down and just show up, or I can make sure you get on our mailing list our email list so that you know all about these. Basically, that format is business owners helping business owners so that we don't keep repeating the same mistakes. We do have a topic that we discuss, and you would know that topic via e-blast prior to the meeting. This next one is going to be, it's Lily's House. Is that what the name is? Lily's House. Talking about how you can hire special needs persons and what kind of benefits that gives you and how you go about doing that. So that will be the topic for August. We have different topics every month. If you have a problem that you're working through, we always offer that up at the beginning of the workshop to see if we can help anybody. And then you're always welcome to offer a topic for the next time. So it's free to attend. No RSVPs necessary. You just show up. It's really we've been doing it now for about almost 5 years. And it's been a really good meeting. We have various workshops for business owners all the time, so make sure you get on our list. Like I said, they're always free. Some of them will or will not pertain to you, but it's better that you know about it and choose not to go than not know about it and wish you had gone. We do business visitations with the chamber. That means if someone's having a an issue, or sometimes we just show up unannounced, which scares the Jesus out of them. They see the city seal and they're like, "You're coming to shut me down." So it takes us about 20 minutes to convince them we're not there to shut them down. We're there to help. Scariest words, I'm with the government and I'm here to help. That's what people love to hear. They're like, yeah, running for the back door. No, but we do business visitations with the chamber. We really want to go out and meet everybody, and we really do want to help. I know it's funny to joke about, but as far as a government entity, we really do want to help. We have the ombudsman and customer service for business, and we also, something that's probably not as well known here, is we have a lot of foreign delegations come through our city hall, a lot of government entities from other countries. We had Kabul, Iraq, come through. They are trying to put their government together, and they wanted to know how Murrieta runs their government. So as they're trying to, they were on a field trip to different Southern California cities, but as they try to put together a new government, they wanted to know how we did it. So that was kind of interesting. But usually their government entities coming here because they want to do business with our businesses. And that's usually what we're trying to promote. For example, we had the government of Indonesia here a few years ago. We were able to find out that they have a problem with clean water and power between all of their islands. So we set up meetings with, it's not a Murrieta company anymore, neither of them are actually. They've since, one moved to Mexico and one moved to Temecula for a larger space. Nimbus Water, we put them together with Nimbus Water, which was a Murrieta business at the time. They do clean water filtration system, and they actually have invented a backpack that runs off of solar that the Indonesians were very interested in. And then SRS Engineering, which did biofuel out of palm oil, and Indonesia is the #1 exporter of palm oil. So trying to put them together so that our businesses can make some money on exporting to other countries. So we're always trying to do that. We actually have an agreement with the U.S. Department of Commerce. We're one of the only cities that does that. We basically promise to promote exporting with them. So we do a lot of that. That would more pertain to our manufacturers, not necessarily, but you may not realize that we have a lot of governments coming through here all the time. So some of your business resources, we have one of them in the room today, Mr. Paul Nolta. We have the Murrieta Chamber of Commerce. If you are a small business and you are not part of the Murrieta Chamber of Commerce, you should ask me why, and I'll give you my 20-minute soapbox answer as to why you should be. I joined the Murrieta Chamber of Commerce in 2006 when I first started my marketing company, more out of an accident. I didn't know what else to do or where else to go. I had no idea what a chamber did. And they were the #1. In fact, Paul was stationed there at the time. He had an office in their office. #1 thing that helped my business. So we have the Economic Development Corporation, which works most like a regional chamber of commerce. So our local EDC oversees the 6 cities, whereas the Murrieta Chamber would be more Murrieta focused. The Temecula Chamber would be more Temecula focused. The EDC isn't a chamber, but it functions kind of like a chamber. They do business attraction, business retention. But our local EDC focuses on the 6 cities in Southwest Riverside County. We have SCORE, which is that's retired executives. They can help you with, they've owned a business before. We have 2 local SCORE counselors here. It's free of charge. They can help you write your business plan. Same with the SBA. And there's some. I tend to think SCORE likes to work with the startups before they're going, and you tend to work with the ones after they get going. Is that true or not? That's kind of how I put it in my mind. Yeah, kind of. SCORE seems to be better at before you even get started. You're thinking about getting started. You're really writing that business plan. You need some pre-help before you really get going. That seems to be where SCORE's forte is for the most part. They're free, and I can give you all the contact information for that. Paul Nolta with the SBA, Paul Nolta with the SBDC. He seems to more focus on once you've gotten up and you're kind of rolling with it, and you've maybe been open for a little bit, the business plan is already working, but you need to fine tune it or you need to make some tweaks. That's how I've always seen. And he's not chiming in to tell me I'm wrong, so I think we're good. But also free, all SCORE, SBA, SBDC, TriTech SBDC are all funded by the SBA, the Small Business Administration. So it's a federally funded, all those are federally funded programs, so they cost you no money to go through these counseling appointments. SBA, of course, Small Business Administration. We are in the process of signing an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding with the SBA, that we are going to start promoting more of their business services here. Our local office is in Santa Ana, so they haven't had as much of a presence here as they would have liked in the past years, and they want to ramp that up. So what you'll probably be seeing from us is a lot more either promoting their workshops or having more of their workshops out here. But for you guys, it's free small business help from experts. So TriTech SBDC is the same as the SBDC, but they focus more on technology companies. Our TriTech SBDC counselor out here is Jay Goff. He helps people, specifically technology companies, get ready for angel investing. So like the Shark Tank event that is going to be here at the end of this week, right on Friday. I think he's involved in that. He helps get the businesses ready for the Shark Tank event. We do, at least once a year at our city hall, we do a type of Shark Tank event with Tech Coast Angels. And Jay helps to get everyone ready for that. It helps to get the entrepreneurs ready to present in front of the investors. And it's really, if you see me advertise for that, come. Because for one thing, you're going to find out what these investors are looking for, which I think can help you hone into your business. It kind of helps you plan your, create your business plan a little bit better. Even if you don't think you'll ever look for investors, it's very interesting to hear what the questions are. And it's just interesting anyways, because if you've ever watched Shark Tank, it's so cool to hear what these entrepreneurs are working on, and then what the investors ask. And it gets all heated, just like one guy, we had one time, one guy was out there smoking 2 cigarettes at one time. Thought he was gonna have a heart attack, one of the entrepreneurs. Because it gets like, these are they need $1 million to, whatever it is. So it gets a little bit stressful, but it's really a lot of fun. InSoCal Connect is a Connect organization that we have out here. It's a nonprofit organization. It helps to connect entrepreneurs with inventors, with technology, with research. So like one of the things we do, for example, is we try to, it's very, very young, it's very, very grassroots at this point, but UCR is not that far away. UCR does a lot of research. They never do anything with that research. So one of the things that Connect does is try to find entrepreneurs to put in contact with that research so that they can actually take it and make something out of it. A lot of UC schools do a lot of research and development projects that are for the university that they don't commercialize it. So there's a lot of that goes unused. So that's just one of the things that Connect does. And then Tech Coast Angels is the group of angel investors that we work with that is local to this region that can help. They're mostly interested in technology companies, but we have had, if you do have an interest in an investor every once in a while, because the group itself is interested in technology, but the group is made up of individual investors that may or may not be interested in other things, if that makes sense. So if you have an idea that you're looking for an investor for, let me know and we'll try to put you in contact. Right. Guy. So the third part of what we do in Murrieta, there's business attraction, there's business retention, but in the off chance that we can't attract any business here, we're trying to home grow them. So that's a fun try. But so we have what's called the Murrieta Innovation Center. It's a business incubator. And what we do there, it was our former city hall. We had this vacant building, and we thought, what if we could put startup technology companies in here for free? We charge them $1 a year, so that they don't have to focus on trying to pay rent, trying to pay utilities. We cap their utilities at $200 a month, and that gives them air conditioning, that gives them power, water, gas, all the stuff that they need. We're in the process of putting in a wet lab. We're still in the process of that, but we're in the process of putting in a wet lab. We have 5 technology companies in there right now. 3 of them are bio companies, stem cell research, biomarkers in your genes, and cancer drug delivery systems. Those are the 3 bio companies. And then we have 2 that are in national defense. One designs navigational systems for drones, and the other one does, they are able to take a screen in a tank, an army tank or military tank, and make it 3D so that these guys don't drive off cliffs, because that happens a lot. that's why the CEO of the company, he was in the military and saw that happen quite often to his men. So he vowed to fix that. So that's where in order to be located in our innovation center, you have to be a technology company focused on either national defense or life sciences, medical, and you have to be a startup. So the idea is that we can grow that business to where they can move out, maybe hire 15 employees to start, hopefully from this area. Because research has shown that when you start up a company in that area, you're more likely to stay there. That's where your roots are. So we can't make them stay here, but that's the hope. We have Co-working Connection, which we all know about. The people that don't fit into our innovation center, maybe they're not a technology company, or maybe if they're developing a product that they just want to develop and then sell, we're not interested in having that in our innovation center. We're trying to create jobs that stay here in the valley. So if it's something that doesn't fit into our technology in our innovation center, we send them to Dion. And whether they end up here or not is another, I don't know, but we refer them over here. So we referred quite a few too. I just don't think they get here. But we have what's called the Valley Innovators Group, which is a group of inventors. Really cool. I think they've taken a break for the summer. But if you ever really want to go to a pretty cool meeting, there's this room full of garage inventors that like to tinker around in the garage, and they never knew that someone else like them ever existed. And the energy in the room is incredible. And it's a crack up. Most of them commute down to San Diego for work. They work at like Boeing or L3 or Qualcomm, they work as engineers down there, a lot of them. So the energy, once they get talking to one another and what they're inventing in their garage, and it's just really very cool energy. The idea behind that is, again, to take a lot of the times the people who are garage inventors have no business sense, and they don't want a business sense. They go and get patent after patent after patent. That's what they do for the most part. So the idea is to take that idea with a patent, pair it up with an entrepreneur, and maybe we'll have the next Google in Murrieta or something like that. So we're always trying to try, throw the whole spaghetti at the wall and see which one's going to stick, because we don't know which one. We're willing to try anything. We have a software developers group that I think used to meet here on Saturday mornings. Are they still meeting here?
No, they're meeting, it's like the second or third Saturday of every month. I want to say it's Panera.
Yeah, I think they moved. Yeah.
I think it's at Panera in Temecula, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's a software developers group in this region, so if that's something that interests you, and we're going to be doing a hackathon.
6 months, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a hackathon in about 6 months, and what that's going to be is getting the software developers and getting a bunch of entrepreneurs in the room, giving them a problem to solve, and then they've got like 48 hours to solve that problem, whether it's an app, they're going to be designing an app, something like that. So keep your eyes peeled for that if that interests you at all. And then again, TriTech, SBDC, and SCORE. They help us basically grow businesses here. So that's really where that's what we think will happen. We still try the business attraction on a daily basis. We would really like to see a biomed company from La Jolla up and move, or open up a second location here, or open up their research and development. They're out of room in Orange County and San Diego to really expand. So we think it's logical that they would come here and at least open up another division. But at the same time, we think probably growing our own businesses from scratch is really where we're going to get because if they'll up and move from La Jolla, eventually they'll up and move from here and they see it better, right? So we are really focused on business growth. This is an ad that we have for the city and also the front cover of our magazine. We are really focused on being the city that says yes. So we have been charged by council and the city manager to find solutions. If you bring in a business that doesn't quite fit with something that, where you want to put it or with what our codes allow, we have been challenged with finding a way to find a solution. Which might mean you have to change some things, we have to change some things, we'll make it work. But in the end, we've been pretty successful, I think, in the past few years of putting that together and making that work. And that's Brenda, our receptionist, if you don't know.
She's awesome.
Yes, she's been there for like 20 years. She's had that same smile.
Is that the lady in the front?
No, that's the front of City Hall.
Oh, City Hall.
Yeah, this
Sorry.
is our receptionist at City Hall. She's been the
Okay.
receptionist there for like 20 years.
Okay.
That's why she got herself on the magazine.
Mm.
Finally, that's what you get after 20 years. But
But,
no, she's a big sweetheart, and she watches our counter downstairs, and she makes sure if you go in and you don't feel like you got the service that you expected from our counter, she's usually watching. She can't watch all the time because she does have to answer the phones. She'll call us without you knowing sometimes, and she'll get us down there to help you out, or she'll make sure that we get your name and information. So she's kind of our spy down there to make sure customer service is. So if you ever have a problem and you can't remember how to get a hold of me or whatever, just talk to Brenda. She'll help you out. And then there you have it. There's Bruce and Kim. That's the team. So there's all of our contact information. If you ever need to get a hold of us, that information is on the website. That information should be just about everywhere. There should never be an opportunity for you to say, oh, I couldn't find your phone number. It's on my Facebook page. My phone number's on my Facebook page. Bruce doesn't really check Facebook. So if you ever have any questions about anything, we are more than happy to answer your questions. And that is it that I had for the formal presentation. Is there any questions that I can answer about business in Murrieta?
So I live in Temecula. I work out of my home, if you want to call it that, but I mostly just do like invoicing and drawings and whatever there. So when I go do a job, I'm physically at someone's location, obviously, which I've done probably more Murrieta than Temecula. So I guess my question is, do I file with Murrieta too? And also, am I able to utilize you as a resource or not?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes to both.
Okay.
Technically, yes, you're supposed to have a business license in any city that you do business in. So if
Okay.
you find that I would say for a small business owner, if you get a job in Menifee like once a year, you would have to decide that on,
Okay.
Technically, yes, you're supposed to, but if you find that you're coming to Murrieta a lot, the ethical answer would be yes, you probably should have a business license there. And yes, here's the thing about our services in Murrieta, we never turn anyone away.
Okay.
We'll never turn you away. Technically, we have to say that we only help Murrieta businesses, but we would never turn anyone away for help. The fact that you come to Murrieta and do business a lot helps too, but we would never.
I've probably done more, honestly, in Murrieta at this point, at least, than I have.
Yeah. But yeah, we would never turn you away anyways. We're still going to help. We believe in the pay it forward. At some point, you're either going to, after we help you enough, you're either going to move your business here, or you're going to tell others, like, well, they were so helpful. That's what we want to do. So we would never, if you ever see, and that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up, because I get that a lot. People will show up at the business roundtable and they feel like they have to make a reason for why they're like, my mom's lived in Murrieta for, my business is in Wildemar, but my mom's lived in Murrieta for 20 years. And I'm like, why do I care where your mom lives, But because they're trying to make a reason why they're allowed to be there. We would never, no matter what workshop we have, no matter what it is, anyone is welcome all the time. We get some people, I've had people drive in for the business roundtable at 7:30 in the morning from Santa Ana. From Escondido, yeah, because they're like, we get so many of your emails, we had to come see what this was all about. And of course, they had to make a case for it. My mom's lived here for 20 years. Hey, you can be here. We're not going to kick you out. So we welcome everybody. In fact, the more the merrier. And the more you come in and see what we're doing in Murrieta and bring a different perspective from Temecula or wherever, that's great.
I mean, I have a lot of subs from Murrieta too. Their businesses are in Murrieta.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's great. And I didn't put on there, I always forget, we have a group called Lunch with Friends, Murrieta Lunch with Friends. A lot of people in this room are a part of that. But that is every Wednesday at noon. And again, you can go no matter where you live, where you work, whatever you do, you can go to this group. It's every Wednesday at noon. It's a different Murrieta restaurant, Murrieta eatery. I like to say eatery because we've been to Murrieta Day Spa, we've been to Aces Comedy Club, so it's not necessarily a restaurant that we go to. It's a different Murrieta eatery every week. The only caveat is the third Wednesday of the month, the chamber takes over for the location and they spotlight a member, which then allows us to go, like a couple weeks ago we were at Tesoro's in Wildemar. I can't take the group to Tesoro's in Wildemar because Murrieta pays me to promote Murrieta. But when so we made up that third Wednesday of the month, the chamber promotes a member, and that allows us to go to like the Shamrock. The Shamrock is technically on county land, not in Murrieta. So it catches all those ones that are right on our border that maybe you want to go to that restaurant, but it just gets around the city
Temecula's
limit
gonna
thing.
take that area too,
Huh?
When they do annex it, Temecula's gonna take that area now.
The Shamrock area, yeah, which Paul and Graham are not happy with.
Is
They
that-
are determined that they are in Murrieta, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, when they
Seems
first-
kinda north for Temecula.
That's, well, that, anything on that side of
North of
Winchester
Valley
is
City.
Temecula, and anything on the other side of Winchester, up to a certain point, will be Murrieta at some point. Like French Valley Airport will be Temecula.
No way.
That's within what's called their
Wow.
sphere of influence. Will they ever annex it? It would need a lot more retail out there before they would even consider it. You can't just annex in houses. If you annex in houses, then you're placing a strain on the police department with no way to pay the police department.
Yep.
Yeah, so until you start seeing a lot more retail going on out in that like Winchester, French Valley area, no one's gonna be annexing
It
anything.
took forever even to annex Red Hawk and it had.
Yeah, well, and see, that's the problem, back in that Red Hawk, all in that area back there, there's no retail, it's just a sea of houses.
Yeah.
There's no reason to
Now
take
there's a
on,
ton, but
yeah, there's no reason to take on that liability when you don't have any way to pay for it.
I mean, even when they put it up to vote though, it wasn't getting
Yeah.
voted in.
So, yeah, the Shamrock is technically, it's got a Murrieta address, it's on county land, and it's in Temecula sphere. But
That's funny.
they refuse to believe that. They say they're in Murrieta, which is fine by us. We love them, you know.
Right.
But when they first came in, when they were first opening, they came in to get their permits. We had to tell them, you have to go to the county. Yeah.
Wow.
They were not happy.
That's a
So
bummer.
they're money out. And still, they'll say to us, "Oh, we don't believe it. We're in Murrieta." And we're like, "That's fine. We tell people all day long you're in Murrieta." But unfortunately, someday, you know, they'll be counted
That
for a
could
while. But
change.
someday they'll.
Yeah.
But
What's gonna go in, behind Levelland? I know Kaiser bought the land, they're breaking ground. Is there, what other plans are back there? Is it all gonna be healthcare and bio or?
well, so Kaiser bought about 50 acres, which is way more than they need for a medical office building. So we're very hopeful that they'll build a hospital, though they haven't submitted plans for that. That entire area from Scott Road down to Clinton Keith, we rezoned recently as office research park. We don't see it necessarily as medical, although that would fit within that zoning. We see it as, kind of like biomed companies from La Jolla, that type of thing. That's how we see it.
Because another one of these needs, Deanna has been telling me, oh, scout it up there. And I said, that would be really cool, especially if that off-ramp ever gets done.
Keller?
Yeah.
Keller, we had to go through the process of redesignating the freeway at that point from rural to urban. Rural, you can only have an off-ramp every 2 miles. Urban is every 1. And we had to redesignate it because Keller and Clinton Keith and Scott are 1, 1, and 1, so we didn't fit under the rural. So we first had to go through the process of having it redesignated. That's why it's been taking so long. But now we're to that process, and I want to say that part of Kaiser's, part of their approval process includes some money towards that interchange. I want to say, don't quote me on that, but I want to say that was part of that's usually a condition of approval. When they're putting that Walmart in off of Scott, I don't know where they're at with that because it's Menifee. That was part of the conditions of approval was the Scott overpass, and that's been kind of a mess. Because of course the developer doesn't want to pay for that, but that's usually how it works out. Speaking of, since we're getting into development questions, do you guys know that we have 3 new hotels coming to Murrieta?
No way. Where?
We have 2 Marriotts going in behind Chewy's.
Marriott's a good pull for people.
Yeah, the first one is under construction now. It's a Residence Inn by Marriott. It's fully funded and it's under construction. You can see the earth movers moving stuff right behind Chewy's. And then once that is built, they will build right next to it a Courtyard by Marriott, which I believe is probably about 80% funded. It's not total, but it's okay. They've got some time. They always put those 2 hotels right next to each other. They're 2 different target audiences, and they put them right next to each other. Yeah, and
Is that the like long-term versus shorter term? Is that what it is?
I guess.
Yeah, Residence Inn is-
Yeah, Residence Inn.
Yeah,
That's the one
Residence
that's
Inn
like
has like a
monthly.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe executive
People
stays.
stay for like a month.
Yeah. And then we have a Hampton Inn going in. If you can picture in between Chuck E. Cheese and Rancho Springs Hospital, there's a plot of land there along the 215 on Hancock. There's going to be a Hampton Inn going in there shortly. They should be breaking ground soon. We have CarMax coming, and CarMax is going to be pretty much behind Walmart along the 15 freeway there. So not quite in our auto mall, but pretty close as you drive down the freeway.
Walmart just south of
Yeah, just south of Walmart along the 15 freeway. And CarMax wants to make this their flagship store, so it will be one of their largest dealerships in the nation.
I didn't even know they had stores on it. I don't think I've ever seen that online.
Yeah, they're pretty big.
They're huge.
Yeah, they're pretty big.
Wow.
So that'll be, that's huge.
That'll be great
We've been working on that
jobs,
for a long
too.
time, as well as Kaiser. Those have been in the works for a long time. Public House, I think you know, Public House is opening his third location
Wait,
in Murrieta. He just opened one in San Juan Capistrano.
No way.
He didn't tell
Good
anyone.
for
I think it's opening like this week.
Yeah.
And he said he's trying to keep it under wraps, and then his,
No wonder he's so busy.
yeah, we had a meeting with him this morning. One of the other people in the meeting said, but you posted on Facebook, so I feel like I can say it. 'Cause he posted
Where's
on
the
Facebook.
public house in Murrieta going?
It's going on Washington and Kelmia.
I was gonna say, that area has so much potential right there.
Yeah.
In that new building that's.
The one that had burned down a while back?
Yes.
Yeah. It's
Wow.
going, it's the bottom floor of that. He's looking, there's a little house, like a little historic house that's kind of off to the side part of it. He's looking to open that as a microbrewery,
Oh, very
tasting
cool.
room,
Mhm.
just a little tasting room.
Very cool.
But the one in San Juan Capistrano that opens like this week or something like that is right at the end of the Ortega Highway.
Oh,
Like right when you enter into the.
Where they're building the whole.
Yeah.
community.
No, he didn't tell anybody that, I guess. I don't know, he was afraid it wasn't gonna open or something. And that's what he said, I haven't been telling anyone, and that's when his business partner looked at him and said, you just posted on Facebook. And he's like, well, now I'm telling people, so I feel like I didn't ask his permission, so hopefully I posted on Facebook, so it should be all right. So Public House, so yeah, their third location will be in, on Kelmia and Washington. They're opening up fall, that's all we're allowed to say. That's all we know is fall. This fall, so,
Needs to change the banner. It was spring.
yeah, I know. It was spring, and then it was summer, and now it's fall. But he is moving along. They've been working every day on that.
Stuff to open.
Yeah, well, here's the thing.
Did you help with that?
Here's the thing. Back in the day, when you would do construction, so let's say prior to the recession, let's say like 1999, back when things were booming and everyone was, maybe 2000, 2002, 2003, back when we all had way too much money, we were buying trailers and bikes and all sorts of things because we couldn't get rid of our money fast enough. A developer would build a building and would have it rented out before they would open, before it would even be built.
Right.
So they would build the suites
Right.
to suit. Remember seeing those signs? You don't really see those anymore.
Yeah.
Because they would know the tenant that was coming in and they would build it per this, whatever. So a restaurant needs to be connected to the sewer line at a different rate than like just a small retail store, let's just say. They're not doing that anymore. They build the whole, because they build them, they hope they build it and people will come, but it's not necessarily leased out.
Right.
Maybe that was the intent, but then the recession hit and the building sat vacant for years. That building's been, the offices above have been occupied, but the retail has been completely vacant ever since they built it 6 years ago.
Is that the one right on Calmia?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Washington, yeah. It burned down, it was almost
burned
done
down.
and then it burned down. They had to start
I remember
over.
that. Wow.
So what happens is a restaurant wants to go in there, this is what happened in the Public House, a restaurant wants to go in there and they have to connect to the sewer. And the sewer fees were gonna be over $100,000.
Oh.
So that was a slight hiccup that we had to, we helped them, again, with the ombudsman service.
Right.
Can't afford, the water district, we have 5, I think, and I thought it was 4, but I think there's 5 in Murrieta. They're a completely different entity than us, so we can't force them to do anything. But meeting after meeting after meeting, they came down a little bit, Public Health, they met, they agreed.
Compromise.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
what, we kind of step out, we're the government, so we kind of step out when people start talking about money, we don't want to know, it's none of our business.
Right.
So all we know is they came to an agreement, so they've hit a couple of hiccups like that along the way, but we've been able to help them resolve it, and they've been able to resolve it, and so that's why it said spring. That was probably the biggest hiccup, was the water district thing. That one held it up for about 4 months.
Wow.
I'd say, yeah. But-
And I'm sure that's
But we
why
got
he doesn't
there.
want to commit to a date either, because
Right, yeah, there's always,
there's always.
right, because that's the thing, he's taking a building that's never been occupied before and turning it into a restaurant, which is probably one of the most difficult things. Maybe like a doctor's office or a veterinary clinic would be right up there, because there's a lot of things that they have to be in compliance with as well. And it's not us, a lot of that's county and state, or maybe a hospital, but a restaurant is right up there with one of the most difficult things, to take a building from scratch, put everything in that's needed and get all the permits and stuff like that. If you have a restaurant move out and a restaurant move in, that's simple.
Exactly.
You may need something different for, if you're gonna be like a wood-fired pizza thing, you might need a special oven or, some special things, but you're not taking something from scratch and trying to redo it. So that's
nothing
been
ever, one thing I've learned in this business, nothing ever goes as planned.
right, yeah.
And you always find unexpected little.
And that was definitely the water bill for Jerry.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And that's one delicious pizza, by the way, with fire pizza.
Yeah.
Do they have one in this area? I know of the one in San Diego.
There used to be, I haven't been up there, shame on me, I haven't been up to Scott and Antelope in a long time. Is that still up there? Okay. There's a tiny, I don't even think you can eat in, I think it's all takeout.
They have a couple tables.
Couple tables. Do you know what I'm talking about, Scott and Antelope?
It's owned by Continental East.
Yeah.
You talking about Scott Road?
Scott Road and Antelope. There's a plaza up there with the Walgreens in it. A sushi place. There's a wood-fired pizza place there.
Did lunch with friends go there one time, and when it was the Murrieta Chamber?
We didn't go to the pizza place.
We went to
the
someplace way
sushi
up
place.
there.
We went to the sushi place up there, and we went to the, across the street, we went to the tavern.
Oh, I see, yeah, the tavern.
We couldn't have gone to the pizza place because it's only like maybe 2 tables. It might seat 4 people. Because their business
Those
is
are
takeout.
usually the best places.
Yeah, their business is, but that's wood-fired pizza.
Okay.
You can go check that out.
And while we're on that, the lunch, where's it gonna be tomorrow?
Here.
Oh, here?
Okay. Dion is having it catered. You just need to RSVP. We're trying to guesstimate on how many people.
Who's catering?
Okay.
Who's catering? Spellies.
Oh, cool. Oh, they catered on Monday. Spellies did.
Cool.
It was really good.
Anything else about the city?
I'm curious about the triangle. We hear about that all the time, that kind of comes and goes. And
Yeah.
Anything going on?
Well, he, he's a private, if you know the history of it, he's a private property owner. He can't even.
Thanks, Kim. Sorry, I got a 4 o'clock appointment.
That's okay. Thank you. Dominigoni owns it, his family owns it. They're private people. They can sit on that land for the next 200 years if they so wish, unfortunately. There's nothing that we can force, they can't say there's nothing. There's nothing that we're willing to do to force them to do. But we constantly put them in front of different developers. A lot of developers are very interested in that land. That is probably the most prime piece of property in the world, if you consider that it's the United States, it's California, it's Southern California, and it's on 2 freeways.
Yeah.
That is for retailers, that is probably, when we go to an international trade show for retail every May, and that is the #1 asked question. Everybody knows about the triangle. Unfortunately, he has a bad track record with developers, so people, large developers, like what we see it as is kind of a, not quite the Grove, because that would be a little bit too high, but something between like the Grove and Victoria Gardens. A developer that can develop that kind of property doesn't want to work with a family. They want to work with a business. So I think that's been the problem over the years.
I've watched it, for many years, watched it go from one, one developer to another and kind of like.
So how long have they owned it, Dominigoni?
About 20 years. About 20, a little more than, their original
So
site.
they're not letting go for sure.
Yeah, their original, I can't think of the word right now, site plan, not site, general plan, site plan, specific plan, their specific plan. Their original specific plan was approved by the county, and we've been a city for 23 years. So they must have owned it for a little over 23 years, because otherwise we would have had approval on it. But the county did their original approval on it, which is still good. But if you saw in the news somewhat recently, they came back to council and wanted to make an amendment to that original specific plan because they want to change what is going on it. And we said no to that. Because we're just afraid that if he starts putting in, like, let's say, there's a couple of things. If he puts in, say, a drive-through McDonald's, a drive-through Jack in the Box, no offense to them, but Nordstrom, Cheesecake Factory, all those other big guys aren't coming then. They're not going to be part of a property where those businesses are, just the way that they work. The other part of it is, the last thing we need is another plaza with small fast food. All that's going to do is take business away from all the other plazas and blight because now they're gonna be off 2 freeways, so then you would see the McDonald's there, another McDonald's in town would go out of it, So we don't need to we need something different, we don't need something that's gonna take business from what we already have here. So those were the reasons in telling him no, that he couldn't do it, plus he wanted to put billboards up. So, once you put billboards up, you really can't get them down again. Billboard companies have more money than anybody else, so they win in lawsuits all the time.
It'd be really nice to do something really classy, there's enough fast food in this place. There's opportunity there for really nice, a cool little hangout area, especially you got Scully's on the other side. I could see a lot of places like Public House and kind of like Old Town, Temecula, where you can just bop around and have plenty to do and eat and see and shop or whatever.
And that's how we see it. There's a lot of the high-end retailers, when we go to the Vegas trade show, we talk to, one of the big ones is Cinepolis, which is the big movie theater that you can get alcohol, like you just order from your seat.
That'd be awesome.
They have one in Del Mar.
I'd go there.
They want to go to the Triangle. When we meet with them and we say, can we get you to Murrieta? Yeah, we'll come to the Triangle. If it's the right development, it would have to be done right. Obviously, they're not just going to sign up to go to the Triangle no matter what. But if it was like a Victoria Gardens type of development, or like the Grove, that sort of like outdoor walkabout. I can't remember what they call it now, but it's a destination. Cinepolis wants to go there. Cheesecake Factory once you get one of those, once you get like a Cinepolis
there. We should have one of those here.
Cheesecake Factory?
It blows me away that we have all these places and
they want to go to the Triangle too.
Well,
once we get one, they all kind of follow each other. So if we were to, let's say we were to entice the Cheesecake Factory, once and probably it wouldn't be us, but the developer working on it. A lot of these developers come with already signed agreements from some of these people too. So like, let's say the developer that developed the Grove, he would have a special relationship with Cheesecake Factory, with Cinepolis. Because he puts the same things into all of his. You see what I'm saying? So it would be, once we get the right developer on the project, and by we, I mean, we put him and we put the developer in the room.
So I can get along with Dominic.
Well, look, when you have a family business like that, you have personalities. And when you're doing a mall or a development, it's business, it's money, it's return. Investors are putting a lot of money in
big guys, they
don't want to deal with family feud.
So, we're not sure what he's going to do. I mean, it
done
seems at this point, if it were me, I would think his only option is to sell. And there would be, it would be like a land grab.
It'll be the next Sterling.
Well, like French Valley, it was owned by private people and they wanted more land for the airport. So people sold it one by one. Well, that's probably when it will happen.
He has a specific plan on it, so there's not much he can do other than either do this specific plan or sell it at this point. So I don't know what he's going to do, or sit on it. I guess that would be the three. He can either do what he's already been approved for, he can sell it, or he can sit on it.
And what he was approved for, is it what we're talking about? Okay.
High-end commercial retail. Hilton has expressed an interest if with the right development that they could put something in there, possibly with a convention center, like a small, would be huge.
Right.
Not talking like
there's only
not talking like Vegas Convention Center, but something where we could have like a similar thing as Pechanga, where we could have a ballroom that seats like 500, 600 people, which we still need. We have nowhere to do our state of the cities. But, and other organizations don't have room either. So we're constantly talking to those people behind the scenes, trying to get them interested. We constantly put them in meetings with the Dominagoni family, but that's all we can do. All we can do is encourage and hope, and keep our fingers crossed. And then once a developer does get on that, we will do anything we can to help make that project go as smoothly as possible, to encourage them. Again, just like the benefits I was showing you up there. Loma Linda was open from groundbreaking to doors opening in 2 years, which is absolutely unheard of for a hospital in California during the recession. Those were 3 big hurdles there. So we'll do what we have to do within our power to get somebody open on time. So once there is a developer on that project, people accuse the city all the time of holding up that project. You have no idea how bad we want to see that project develop. that's straight up
Huge.
retail dollars
Yeah,
and
that
benefit
is
to the community.
Jobs, money, income, taxes.
Temecula wanted their hospital, it was private homeowners that held that up
Yeah,
for
that
6
can happen.
years.
It was?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Gosh,
I
that
sat-
project took forever.
I sat in
People I
one-
know that wanted to work
They
there
had one
left
private-
Temecula
they had
because
one
they
private
waited too
resident
damn
that
long.
all of ACES.
I sat in city council meetings and there were people.
One resident can do a whole lot of.
It's gonna ruin my view, I don't want that
Then they get
hospital.
letters every time they do. an event in
Excuse
their
me?
parking lot for the community.
Sell your
The
property
bridge
and go
church.
somewhere
Oh,
else,
yeah.
you're
They
gonna
get
hold
letters
a
from the
whole
community saying.
thousands and thousands of
It's because
people
your
from.
events, I have Jack Daniels bottles.
Tiny
on my
net.
It's a
And
church.
from what I
Yeah.
understand, it
They're-
could too. I understand
Oh,
it's a pretty good
it's-
hospital.
Oh, yeah,
The-
yeah.
the- the-
So,
It's
yeah.
state of the art
Makes the
awesome.
box.
That's what I hear. I haven't been.
You were
Oh,
saying
I
Epic
I
was
haven't
there.
been a patient,
Originally,
thank
you
you,
thought-
Lord. but
Oh, you mean,
I went in
Dixieline?
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should go check
Um,
it out.
From what
I
we
live down
understand,
there.
the Dixieline building, well, first of all, did you see that they've been painting the Plumbers building? I think Plumbers is moving back in there, that's what we've heard.
Plumbers, the
Plumbers
furniture
next
store?
to Aces, that huge
Yeah,
furniture store, they've been repainting it. They've had it all taped up for the past week and they've been repainting
Yeah.
it.
What are they
It used to be a
doing?
Plumbers, we think Plumbers is going back in there.
Oh, back in.
Yeah, which is,
Did they close in Escondido?
I don't know. But we were
That's a
trying
nice
to get like
store.
a Dave and Buster's or a John's
Dave and
Incredible
Buster be
Pizza, but we
fun.
couldn't get them interested, so I'm like this much excited that it's gonna be a furniture store, but I'm glad it won't be a vacancy.
How much room does
The
Dave and
Plumbers is
Buster's
nice.
They need
need?
more than that, and they need a heftier population, so. we
Huge,
couldn't-
huge.
Pizza would be perfect.
I know.
A what?
Oh,
What
but-
pizza?
Okay, do you know
It was
any,
close to
Well-
my house.
do you know anything about that
John's
business
Incredible
that's
Pizza.
right next door to the Board of Realtors? I was in their parking lot this
Easy
morning.
Up? Isn't that Easy
No,
Up?
Easy Up is on one side,
other
it's on the other side. And I saw pieces of paper in their window. They're closed down. It was a karate place or
Oh,
something.
yeah, that happened.
Used to be the old Smart and Final long.
Oh, no, yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
So what is that big enough for? Who can we get in
No,
there?
I'll have to look at it.
Co-working.
You know,
You do need a
our
bigger
vacancies are being taken up, we haven't had to do a
It's
lot
got
of
great
that.
parking.
Yeah, we're getting fewer and fewer vacancies, which is
What
great.
about a Trader Joe's in the Murrieta?
Trader Joe's, well, let me answer Joe, I'll get to Trader, let me answer Joe's question really quick. The old Dixieline building is owned by ProBuild. From what we understand, it's still owned by ProBuild. Sometimes it's hard for us to get answers because these are private businesses and they're private brokers and it's private property and it's not really any of our
Is that the
business.
one off, 215?
Up by Super Target,
Okay,
yeah. From what we understand, it's owned by ProBuild, it's still owned by ProBuild. They won't sell it to anyone. It's really only good for, because of that huge yard, it's really only good for another, like,
Home
Home
Depot
Depot
or
or Lowe's.
Lowe's.
They won't sell it to them. We can't put, like, you had said Epic had wanted to go in there. Target, anything like Target or Sam's Club, Walmart will always have a clause in their agreement with the center that no family centers can go in there because they don't want parking to be used up. So we can't do a family center. There was also a proposal for a shooting range, like a really cool, like almost like a paintball thing that they could do in there. That would be considered a family center. Target won't allow it.
Rock Fitness needs to.
So, yeah, so it's really limited what could go in there, but we think that ProBuild is hanging on to it and will open it back up as a Dixieline or as a ProBuild once the market comes back more. But we don't know.
So they're just paying the mortgage on that?
Sometimes, and I don't know how it works, because I'm
Wow,
like,
that's
3 credits short of being a CPA, but sometimes they get they get tax credits for some of their vacancies.
Oh,
They
I
get
see.
write-offs for it. I'm not sure if that falls under that or not,
Okay,
but
good.
yes.
Wow,
They are
crazy.
technically paying the lease on, they own the building, so they're
Right.
paying they're
The
paying the mortgage
taxes
on it.
and all
Yeah.
that.
They're paying the bank for it and no one's in it.
Whitewood, how far out are we from it going all the way through to?
They should be, they should
I know
be
they're
starting.
starting it, because they blocked it off.
Usually it takes about 18 months for a road project like that. We have been, knock on wood, successful in getting them open sooner than that, but usually 18 months is a pretty good
Because they gotta
marker.
get to Dion's faster.
But usually it's about 18 months from start to finish. If we get an incredible amount of rain, that could hold it down.
Because
That'd be
Danny from
great.
Loma Linda was saying that was gonna be done before Loma Linda opened,
Yeah.
and that just didn't happen.
Well, I think probably within that time frame, the state came down and took all of our money that we had for that, and that hindered that. But we did get, the only reason why Jackson Inez was finished is because when the state took away redevelopment money, they said if you have a project that's a certain amount through the process, we will consider giving you your money back for that, and Jackson has qualified for that. So they originally took the money away for that, and then they gave it back to us because we were far enough in the process. Madison, right here, was supposed to be next, because you know behind Walmart it starts doing this. That was next, but it wasn't far enough in the process for us to get the money back on it. From what I understand, they're still petitioning the state, still arguing with them, trying to get it back. So I don't know that that one's dead in the water, but I think that was part of it too. That one wasn't far enough along. You had to have it like already in the design stages. Like I think maybe you even had to have already hired or been out to bid for.
a contract.
Yeah, like you had to be pretty far along in the process for them to consider giving you the money back.
Is Mercedes open?
Mercedes is open. Yep. That's Temecula though.
Oh, that is
Yeah,
Temecula.
they built a great wall of Temecula around it.
Well, you guys did that.
This is ours.
Murrieta did that though at Menifee too, up at that Scott. It's wacky, like where the signs are at for the city limits.
Yeah.
I pay for all of Murrieta.
It's ours. It's ours. Yeah, Mercedes is open. But that's in the city.
We're getting CarMax.
We're getting
CarMax is gonna be
CarMax.
awesome.
Well, yeah.
Well, and you know, Boris bought VW. So Boris owns BMW and Volkswagen now. His goal is to own the entire auto mall and fill it with German luxury cars. That's his
All
goal.
right, good for
Not saying he'll
Boris.
get there, but that's his goal, and that's what, you know.
Oh, it'll happen.
When he first told us that, it was like, gee, I hope so. And then he bought VW. So, okay, there's the first flag in his, you know, there's
the
the
milestone
second
into
flag.
the
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and he hopes to bring minis, and he hopes to bring some other German, you know, maybe Porsche, Audi, that sort of thing. So
Nice.
we, you know, we do what we can to encourage that. Trader Joe's.
Well, what about MJ Park?
And, well, yeah. They'll do, you know, all those car companies, they do their studies on what the demographics are of the region and see. Jaguar probably wouldn't be a standalone. It might be like Porsche, Audi, Jaguar or something like that. I can't see a Jaguar as a standalone. I think Audi would do exceptionally well.
Very well,
Yeah. Porsche would be a little less and Jaguar would be, you know, but they don't want to listen to me. They'll do their own studies. But Trader Joe's, we talk to them all the time. In fact, I think they know Bruce's phone number when he calls. They've told us that they make two lists, like the 5-year plan and the possible 10-year plan. We're on the possible 10-year plan, basically. We didn't make the 5-year plan. They just don't, but they did. That being said, this year when we went to ICSC, which is the International Council of Shopping Centers in Vegas, that's the big international trade show we go to, this was the first time they granted us a meeting.
Wow.
So that's, you know, call it
Okay,
what you will, but.
with that said, is there any way to do petitions or something like that?
Yeah, you guys
And
could, people have threatened throughout the years to start petitions, but we.
planning to
Yes.
go you're gonna go next year. If we started soon enough.
No,
Good
start
signatures.
now. Bruce and I have said we will drive them to Monrovia ourselves and drop off the petitions.
And,
We don't have to wait
yeah,
until the
we
trade show.
need,
I think you'd be perfect to organize that, Jan.
My wife would.
I shop at
But
Trader.
here's
I
the
want
thing.
to get some Temecula.
Here's the thing, they're not gonna care about 500 petitions. We need like 30,000 petitions signed. We need 30,000 signatures.
Well,
We'll drive any amount to Monrovia for you.
Well,
But-
we have
but if
a
we want them
number
to pay
of
attention, we need a lot.
city events between now and the time.
I know, but we can't do that though. That's what I'm trying to say. Someone like you needs to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
So
have
if you
to
know
just
someone or
start,
you wanna
yeah.
do that, we will drive it, no matter how many signatures you get, we will drive it personally to Monrovia and drop it off at their door for you.
That should happen.
Yeah, I agree. But the thing is, the reason why they're not really looking at Murrieta, they think their store in Temecula is great. It makes a lot of money.
Well, maybe it does, but you take your life in your own hands when you go there and park.
And right now, what they're focused on, they're building 3-story Trader Joe's in like downtown LA, downtown Manhattan, and New York. They're building those, that's their product right now that they're building. They're a little suburban, you know, little one-off restaurant store for soccer moms is just not where they're at right. They don't care. They're not even looking at that. So they're interested in the real urbanized downtown revitalization, 3-story big Trader Joe's with underground parking. That's what they're doing.
What location are we thinking about for Trader Joe's?
Well, it would depend. At one point, we had a lot of locations in mind. Now most of those have been taken up. So it would just depend on when they'll have. That's the thing too. You know, with like Dunkin' Donuts wants to come here really bad, and so does Panera Bread. The challenge that we have is they have certain criteria that they have to meet. They just don't, you know, it's not that easy to just come and say, okay, we want to open up a Dunkin' Donuts, and we're like, yeah, hey, right over there, and then they go right over there, open up their doors, and they're good. No, it'd be nice. But they, like, for example, Dunkin' Donuts has to be on the morning side of traffic. They have to have a drive-through.
Wow.
And, you know, they want to be right off the freeway or close to the freeway.
Right.
So once you start adding in all those little details and you start looking at a map, it's like, yeah, they could go right here if there wasn't a Coldwell Banker building already there. You know, I mean, it's like, so.
Well, Starbucks took over Carl's, and I wouldn't have thought that was ever gonna
Starbucks
happen.
took over our old library and built a drive-through. That would have been a great spot.
The
for Dunkin'
worst
Donuts.
drive-thru in the
Starbucks-
world.
Starbucks got it first.
What's that?
It's the worst drive-through.
Los Alamos.
Is it?
It is, because they tried to make something work that doesn't work.
No, and you
It's
can't
a weird
sit outside because the exhaust is so bad right there by the drive-in.
Where is
It
this?
wasn't ideal.
Right there
Los
on Los
Alamos,
Alamos, on the other
in front of
side.
the post office.
What 215 place though? What?
Starbucks.
Oh, there's a Starbucks. Oh.
So we're still working. We're confident that we will find something for Dunkin' Donuts, but I mean, we meet with them. We've probably met with them about 6 or 7 times in the past like 5 months. Looking at maps, talking about location, and then let's just say we find them, oh, this spot right here on Murrieta Hot Springs, that's where we want to go. Well, then they have to make a deal with the landlord. And they may not come to terms on the lease,
Right.
you know?
Oh,
Yeah.
that place right by Sonic that never came.
That's not the morning side of traffic.
What's the morning side of traffic?
Wherever the highest traffic flow is.
So on Murrieta Hot
That's
Springs, it would be going the other way. So they want to be on the J. Carter side. That's where the morning traffic is going towards the freeway. Because no one is going to make all these weird left turns and ins and outs to try to get a cup of coffee and
Yeah.
you need to be, it
Yeah.
needs to be simple. So that's, I didn't know either. When he first called me, he goes, okay, here's the criteria, we want to be on the morning side, and I wrote, morning side, question mark. I'm like, I'm not gonna ask. But, you know, because I'm on the phone with him, with the Dunkin' Donuts guy, I'm like, I know what that means. So they want to be on the morning side of traffic, they need a drive-through. We've honed it down to a couple of things, but then they have to make the agreement with the landlord, and sometimes that doesn't work out.
Yeah.
So it's like after all that work, and we finally get them a spot, they can't
still
come to
may not
terms.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They
you gotta
can't-
start over.
They can't reach an agreement on the money or the terms or the whatever, you know? Or maybe that landlord already knows that a Starbucks is coming in the plaza, and Starbucks, of course, would have a, an agreement that no one else, or
Right.
whatever, something,
So crazy, so many little legs to everything.
Yeah, there's so
I don't
many
even know how
different,
people
yeah.
keep track
So
of
it's
all
not,
that. It's
we
insane.
get asked all the time, why can't we get a Trader Joe's? And it's like, oh, that was only that easy.
Yeah.
Or like the Ralph's on Cal Oaks that went out, we got so many emails, you guys should just put a Trader Joe's in there.
Yep.
Yes.
So we should just put
We
Trader
wish we
Joe's.
could.
We could just put a Trader
Let us
Joe's
just
in there.
call them up.
Life
tell
would be
them to
so
move
much
right in.
easier. So that's what Bruce and I, that's part of what we're doing all the time. We're on the phone with these guys, we're meeting with them, we've met with Panera Bread. Panera Bread did a study, and they basically honed down that they want to be, you know where Chipotle is on Cal Oaks? They want to be right there.
Who wants to be there?
Panera,
Can they build another building there? No.
and they want to drive through. Maybe if Carl's Jr. goes out of business. So you can see it, because they did a study and they found that from their store in Temecula to their store, and I think they have one in Lake Elsinore. They do all of this. I mean, they pay millions of dollars to do these research studies and stuff. And so they found that the very best place for a successful Panera would be like right there, right where Jamba Juice is. And we had tried to get them to look at that spot before Jamba Juice and Banner Mattress went in. This was during the recession, and they were like, we're not ready. So I took great pleasure in saying, I believe we offered that building to you a few years ago.
I'll settle for a Costco, like Clinton Keith area.
We're working on that too, but that's
Because Menifee's never gonna bring it in.
equally as hard. But yeah, then we're looking at that. Costco.
Oh.
We're working on that.
We need one severely.
Same thing, you need the ideal location, and then they need to make a deal with whoever's got that location.
Take out the Sam's Club.
But it's fun though, over the years you get to know these guys. I mean, we meet with the Panera guys all the time. We've now met, you get to know these guys, you joke around with them. And we'll keep trying, we'll keep working on Trader Joe's. The best thing about my boss, for better or for worse, Heather knows he doesn't take no for an answer. So.
Well, yeah.
He's like, as long as you're answering the phone, there's still a maybe in there, so we'll keep working on it. They will come here eventually.
It's amazing how you were able to take out the black eyes that he takes for
Yeah.
sitting.
Where is he today?
He, God only knows, could be San Diego, could be, he's all over the place.
Double, triple book somehow.
Well, thank you, Kim,
You're
for
welcome.
coming
Yeah,
today.
And I just information. It's also in the back of that magazine and in the brochure